After getting a sense of the amount of knowledge contained inside the thick book, James set it off to the side. James looked at Maya to see how she was faring. Compared to him, Maya had one book set off to the side and another one next to the stack. Pointing at the book that was set next to the stack, James asked, "I'm guessing that one is one you're not interested in getting?" Scrunching her face, Maya sighed. "It's not like I don't want to get it. I think it's valuable, but I don't particularly enjoy the idea of learning which bugs are safe to eat." Hearing that the book was about surviving off of bugs, James felt his body involuntarily shiver in reflex. The merchant giggled at Maya's and James' reactions. Surprisingly, bugs have a lot of nutrients contained inside, relative to their size. Another benefit is that, compared to animals, you'll be able to find insects wherever you travel. Maya stubbornly shook her head. "I don't care if I starve to death. There's no way that I'm eating a bug." Though James didn't feel as strongly as Maya did about the topic, he also did enjoy the thought of gulping down bugs they'd find inside the ground, under rocks, or stashed inside a fallen log. At the same time, James did recognize what the woman saying was correct. Even when they were escaping the forest, the animals were gone due to the presence of monsters. Still, it was very likely that they could have discovered bugs hiding and out of sight. With that thought in mind, James tentatively reached for the book. Immediately, Maya smacked his hand away. "Don't even think about it." She glared at him as though daring him to try and purchase it. To try and further convince them, the merchant said, "There are some rare insects that, if eaten, can increase the amount of energy stored inside your body." The merchant turned the book around so that she could look for what she was talking about. James was fascinated that there could be some kind of bug that could improve how much energy that they could contain inside their body. This made him focus on the pages of the book, checking out the numerous drawings of bugs with text written next to each one. Compared to James, Maya pretended to look through the book in front of her. What gave her away was how her eyes would periodically glance over at the pages. But the moment her eyes landed on grotesque images, her body shuddered in disgust, and she returned to looking at the book. James tried not to giggle at Maya's reaction to what the merchant was searching for. "This is an extremely rare tree slug." The merchant pointed at the image of a small slug that seemed less than a foot long. Based on the picture, it blended in well with the log of the dead tree drawn in the middle of the forest. "The odds of you finding this slug are unlikely, which is why it fetches such a large guild point reward for anyone that can find it." The merchant looked at James as to gauge his reaction to the information. "It must be a lot of energy a person's body would receive after eating it." James looked at the merchant. Shaking her head, the merchant said, "Actually, based on the equipment that your group is wearing, I doubt you'd see much of a benefit." James blinked in surprise, not expecting to get such an answer. The merchant shrugged. The fact that this tiny thing could push you from a level 1 to a 2 would be something a lot of people would be interested in. This tends to be for those who may be too busy with their business. It's why adventurers above a certain level tend to just sell these items. James nodded his head. "I guess that makes sense. With the gained guild points, an adventurer could probably enjoy staying in a room with higher energy levels and eating better food that matches their needs."